hey, I didn't go out of business the first 3 months. Actually, I made $1 million in 3 months. Do you know that only 1% of small businesses in the United States ever makes $1 million in revenue?
My hope is that when people eat from my plate, they leave nourished, they leave full, and the seeds to go create and do more.
It shape shifts. But ultimately, what it comes down to is inclusion.
Recently, we launched something called the Anchor Fund. It's a $2 billion venture fund focused on Black fund managers, where we make anchor investments. So we'll invest $25 million into each manager.
And our entrepreneurs contribute over 1,500 jobs to our communities, generated over $450 million of new economic value for the city of Atlanta, and we're just getting started.
What does success look like for you?
I just think about my ancestors. To hear their whisper and to hear them clap. And I've heard a little whisper, but I haven't heard the clap yet.
Yeah.
So that means that there's a lot more to go. And I think genuinely, you know, your legacy is what people will write in some respects, but it is the fruit of your labor. And my hope is that when people eat from my plate in whatever capacity that looks like, they leave nourished, they leave full, they have the enzymes and the seeds to go create and do more. And that's meaningful, nice. Like to me. The numbers will be there, and like that will be fantastic. But I think if I focus in that posture, that would be good. And ultimately, like when I one day do leave this earth, when the good man upstairs can say, "Job well done," I'm good.
Nice.
Like that means that, all right, cool, we did it. Like somebody else will come after me and talk about how we need to tear up the world and make it different and get 2% better, and yada. They may say 3%. Who knows? So you have a finite time on Earth, so just enjoy it every day. So yeah.
That's a really interesting question because I think about it so much. It really shape shifts, but ultimately, what it comes down to is inclusion and seeing like the bigger picture with how Black people can find a way into the space, whether it is with like a budget brand. It could be a fragrance line that's sold at Target. It could be a fragrance line that's sold in the most exclusive, boutiques at Harrods, But how is it that we can be in these spaces and have the same level of respect as our peers and kind of breaking through that ceiling of this idea that only European fragrance brands, are to be respected. It always comes down to inclusion for me.
Talk to us a little bit about why Black Tech Week, right? But then more than anything, why Black Tech Weekly, and then also the fund.
Well, let me just talk directly to the camera and say, don't ever buy something from Derek or Felicia because they're going to get out right at the right time. It's going to be all encompassing and you're going to work 70-hour weeks. They do. I don't, I've taken that on. That burden. So that's for the people. Don't do it. But no, it's been a blessing.
Yeah.
We are forever in both of your debts. And it really has become, our adopted life's work, from your amazing stewardship.
Yeah.
And so what happens is when you start to get people together, right? It was 1,200 the first year we bought it. It was 3,000 people last year. Next year, we expect it to be about 5,000 to 10,000 people. You start to see their needs and what's missing in the ecosystem. You can see the whole ecosystem in front of you, right? And then what do builders want to do? Yeah. We want to fix it. We want to fill those needs. We want to fill those gaps. And so, the first thing we did was have a $50 million venture fund directly investing in women and minority founders, except for in Tulsa, where we exclusively invest in Black founders to rebuild Black Wall Street. And then we realized that these founders, their stories weren't being told. So we started a media company called Black Tech Weekly. Really exciting. We did a deal with CNBC, NBC, Apple News, Inc., Fast Company, others, to be essentially the tech associated press for Black founders.
Which is huge.
Yeah, we tell them this person's interesting. Their reporters go out, write a story about them. Then they send it back to us for final edit. So we have full editorial control to make sure the stories are told the right way. And then we syndicate those stories across all of them and Black publications. Nice. It's sponsored, our prime sponsor is Procter & Gamble, which did a multi-million-dollar deal. And what we do is we actually pay the white beauty organizations less, and we give the Black ones extra money.
What you doing now?
Yeah, for equity. So we're really excited about that piece of the work. Yeah.
Nice.
We've too many Black investors writing $250,000 checks and not writing $25 million checks, that kind of thing. And so how do we solve, for that? And so recently we launched something called the Anchor Fund. It's a $2 billion venture fund focused on Black fund managers where we make anchor investments. So we'll invest $25 million into each manager, creating hundreds of new Black VCs globally. So as long as you're Black and you're on Earth, that's who we're investing in.
How do you get to that point of not caring what other people think? Because I am there, right?
Okay.
Like I was just like, but you go through so much.
Yes.
And then you realize that these people why do they have real estate in your life? Why they have agency? But there's like a process, I think, in which you get to the point where like, I am just going to do what I'm put on this earth to do, whether people like it or not. Like, was there a moment for you where you're just like, I can put blinders on. I do not see anyone that is like not on board with where I'm going, with what I'm building?
That is what motivated me. On my way over here, I was listening to your partner Pharrell's song, So Ambitious with Jay-Z. And that's literally what the song is about. It's literally what your podcast is about. It's about doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Doing it anyway. Okay, so I'm crazy, I'm doing it anyway. Okay, I'm not qualified, I'm doing it anyway. I don't have the money, I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the word no. The door's locked, go through the motherfucking basement. You don't have a basement, show me the chimney. There's no chimney, let me take a look at that window. There's always a way. And you know what the proof is? The proof is math, the proof is science. One, we are sitting on a blue ball floating in the middle of nowhere right now.
That is true.
Our phones are powered by crystals. Our brains are powered by crystals. None of it makes sense. So you telling me we can't serve real food out a drive-through window? Like, it's just so simple. It's so simple, it's scary. Now, scaling it, executing the dream, finding the resources to do it, hearing the word no a million times and not actually falling victim to that is challenging.
Right.
And there have been so many times when I'm like, Lord, if this is not what you want me to be doing, I'm okay with that too, because I want you to order my steps. And if this isn't what you really wanted me to be doing, that's fine, because I actually don't know how I'm gonna make it through payroll on Friday. It's not like I haven't had those moments. I've had those moments. I have those moments. That is real life, that is business. And no one ever talks about how hard it is. But from a perspective of, can I provide blackened salmon, sweet mash, and broccoli out of a drive-through window? Yes.
In a timely manner before the buzzer goes off. Yeah.
Yes, we can. And I think the other part of this challenge and why you're so powerful in what you're doing is that having Black ambition is so key, because it's so easy to believe that we don't belong here.
Yeah.
It's so easy to fall into this belief system that there are limits on what we can accomplish. And it's so easy to forget who we really are. And every single person that I told this idea to told me that it was impossible. And even when I went back, hey, I didn't go out of business the first 3 months. Actually, I made $1 million in 3 months. Hey, I didn't go out of business the first year. I actually made $3 million this year out of 1,900 square feet. Do you know that only 1% of small businesses in the United States ever makes $1 million in revenue? And I made $1 million literally in 90 days because of God and the strength of the community and people seeing my enthusiasm and passion and wanting and needing what we were offering out of that drive-through window. This is a real thing and it works. People would still say to me, I know what you've accomplished with sheer grit and determination, and that's awesome, but I'll never invest in you. Not you, a woman of color, no traditional restaurant experience, no master's degree. You didn't go to Wharton, you didn't go to Harvard, you didn't go to Yale. Your husband's a professional athlete. He needs to just relax and continue to dribble the basketball. You got 5 kids, what? And one of them has a medical condition? Baby, you're gonna burn out. I can't invest $1 with you. Okay, but you'll give your money to Sam Bankman-Fried, and you'll give your money to Bernie
That part.
Madoff.
Yeah.
This isn't an idea on the back of a napkin, baby. It's a real thing. You can go there right now and get a fresh pressed green juice. I'm not selling you anything that's not real. That's the problem, though. Because of all the venture money that's raised in this country, we know the numbers. Only 2% of those dollars ever even touch women's hands. And black women, we don't even get to sniff it. And that's why we need you. And that's actually why we need me. And that's why we needed my mom in the 70s. And that's why we need my daughter as a doula who's a business person. It's like, it's not enough to open the door a crack. It's not enough to offer somebody a seat at the table. It's not even enough to build a banquet hall. We gotta be dragging our sisters through the door by their baby hairs and building massive, massive scale empires where we sit, you know, because who else is gonna look out for us?
One of the greatest stories that holds the greatest weight with me, I got a call at 2 a.m. from an entrepreneur, established entrepreneur, but overnight, they lost 85% of their business because of COVID-19. The airports had shut down, the airlines had shut down, and that was kind of the bread and butter of their business. Again, access, opportunity, exposure. Because we had a relationship with a major Fortune 50, we got on the phone with them. We talked about their readiness, and we could stand behind their readiness to do the work. Within 6 months, this emerging company closed a deal with a Fortune 50 organization that added over $28 million to their bottom line. For an organization their size, it usually takes about 6 to 8 years to develop that kind of relationship with the Fortune 50 to close that kind of contract. We did it in 6 months. Or one of the last times I was in Florida, our youngest CEO is 11-year-old Zoe Oli with beautiful curly me, and she's a beast, and she is not just a lemonade stand. I think Zoe did over $1.5 million last year. But we have a partnership with Disney, and we were able to bring 60 of our entrepreneurs down to meet the executives at Disney to talk about what it meant to do business with Disney, how to delight the customer and show customer service like Disney does, or how to imagineer how you actually reach your customer. And to have an 11-year-old come down to Disney for her first time, not to just put on ears and go to the amusement park, but to go as a CEO, talking to other C-suite leaders and showcasing her brand around how I can think about how I show up in the marketplace and getting some of the best advice available on the planet is the kind of thing that charges me, that we have about 120 companies that have signed on to fund our work and support our work. And each of them comes with more than just a check. And if I'm a fintech company, we have a number of fintech companies that are there to help. If I'm a logistics company, and even within the building, I've always believed that it's fallacy to say that one organization can do all things. We have 14 other organizations that have offices in the building that all have a mission in some way, shape, or form to support Black entrepreneurs. So in the truest sense of building an ecosystem and tearing down silos, we're not in it for ourselves. And I think the ability to now, you may come through the center and Jamie Dimon is walking through the hallway, or Tashunda Duckett was just there two weeks ago, or Renee Jones, the president and CEO of M&T Bank. Like this notion that I belong, but some of the best of the world is here too. So what does that make me feel about myself? Back to that undergirding self-esteem, self-confidence, and belief, that's the part that I'm most proud of. That it's not just about the curriculum, it's the culture that we're developing. We've gone from 0 now to 0 to 40 employees. We support 360 entrepreneurs full-time. We touch about 10,000 annually. We had 80,000 people walk through our building last year. And our entrepreneurs contribute over 1,500 jobs to our communities. I think the stat was that our entrepreneurs, our stakeholders, and we're very intentional about that name, our stakeholders generated over $450 million of new economic value for the city of Atlanta in just the last 3 years. And we're just getting started.